Oh yeah, you're kind of cute. I guess you can come home with me and we'll see how it goes. And then by the second time, it was like, I'm really liking what I'm seeing here. I think I want to take this a step further with you. And by the third product, I was like, I want you all over me. Hey you guys! So today's video is going to be the final installment in a series, or a trilogy I guess, of videos that I made surrounding like top 5 brands I ... fill in the blank. So the first one I did was 5 brands that I never buy from anymore. The second one was about 5 brands that I have never purchased from, and this one is going to be about 5 brands I always buy from. But there's a little like M. Night Shyamalan style twist. You have to stay to the end of the video to find out what it is, I guess. This list, all of these lists, are completely and utterly biased and based on my own personal experience. In no shape, way, or form am I intending to imply that my experience with these brands, or the lack thereof, has anything to do with what I think you should be doing or shouldn't be doing. And for the sake of this video, I just want to say that even though I love the brands on this list, that's not to say that like I blindly support them and buy everything that they release, or think that everything they release is bangers, or think that you should buy their stuff. Like, not at all. These are just the brands that I have consistently bought things from, that I love and use and repurchase. But as per usual, I definitely want you guys to leave your 5 brands that you buy from the most down below. Definitely come hang out with me on Patreon. Link is down below in the description box. We got live streams, we got bonus content, all kinds of fun stuff happening over there. If you're new here and you want to check out more content about beauty, the beauty community, or the beauty industry, and the lessons we can learn from all of the above, make sure you subscribe. Also, if you're not new here, hey, what's up? How's your mama doing? And yeah, let's just get started. So the first 2 brands on this list, if you have been a long-time subscriber or watcher of mine, probably not going to surprise you very much, but the first one is Hourglass. There is almost nothing about this brand that I don't absolutely love. Like, if Hourglass were a person, he would be Chris Hemsworth adopting a puppy while he's holding a baby. Like, if it was a food, it would be banana pancakes. So I can only speak for myself, but a question that I get asked all the time from my subscribers is basically, do I think something is worth the money? So it could be, is a product worth the money? Is a brand worth the money? And there's always such a difficult question for me to answer for you guys, because I just can't possibly know, like what your preferences are, how much of that item you already have, what your budget is, what your personal aesthetic is. Like, there's so many things that go into that question. But for me, I can tell you the 3 things that determine if a product or a brand or whatever is worth the money is, does it check all, not 1 or 2, but all of these 3 boxes? And the first one is this product filling a need, and is it filling this need better than anything else? Usually I would be able to determine if this is a check or not based on if I have repurchased the product, but overall I have to have at least repurchased it more than 1 time to be able to check this one off. Second one is, do I enjoy using it? And typically this box has more to do with the packaging than anything else, but not always. And the third one is, am I using it regularly to daily? Daily in a perfect world, regularly meaning several times a month at the very least. Like, I need to be hitting pan on this thing. And if a product checks off all 3 of those, then I would say, yeah, it's worth it. So like, basically what I'm trying to say is, something can be super inexpensive, but if it doesn't check off those 3 boxes, then to me personally, it's just not worth the money. I don't care how cheap it is. And time again, Hourglass does check off all of these boxes for me, with the exception of like 1 product, which I'll get into later. As far as like superstar products are concerned, I'll just list off a few. The first one is the Hourglass Veil Translucent Powder. This thing is in a league all its own as far as I'm concerned. I've gone through periods of time over the years where I was like borderline hoarding loose powders. I think there was a time when I had like 6, 7, 8 of them. I was just picking them up. Every time someone released them, I would try them. And this is the only one I've ever repurchased. I believe this is the 3rd or 4th time I've purchased it since 2018 when it came out. It's just perfect and beautiful, and I think it works for multiple things. It sets your makeup like all over your face beautifully. You can use it for the buffing technique, and if you wanted to, you could bake with it, but I don't know if I would because it's pretty expensive. It's just perfection. I've never tried a powder, a loose powder that is, that I like this much. The ambient lighting powders. These things are incredible. I think when they first came out, they had a little bit of a bad rap because people were mistakenly trying to use them as highlighters and being very disappointed with the payoff and pigmentation of them in that regard, but that's not what they are. They're actually finishing powders, and if you ever want to know kind of what the difference between a finishing powder and any other type of powder is, like, it's right there in the name. You're going to use this as the last step in your makeup process. So what I do with this type of a product is, after I've done my whole face, foundation, concealer, bronzer, contour, blush, all of the things, except for highlighter, I don't do that. I take my ambient powder and the IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe Wand Ball Powder Brush, get a ball in there, and I buff out my face. And what this does is it creates such a seamless appearance for all of the complexion products you have on your face. So your blush will blend into your bronzer blends into your contour blends into your skin. Everything just looks really blended and seamless. Not to mention, because these have like the most beautiful kind of like ethereal glow, but in a lit from within way, it just makes you look so radiant. This is not an Instagram blockbuster product, and that it's really not something you can see on social media, but I will tell you, this is a real life makeup product, and in person, this makes you look like a friggin' goddess. I love these things so much, and I've only got 3 and the palette, and I want them all. I think they're so great. The bronzers and the blushes are also incredible. So the bronzer in particular that I use is the Luminous Bronze Light from Hourglass. This is the only bronzer, in conjunction with one other, that I've ever repurchased in my entire time collecting and buying makeup. It's so clutch to me because I love it on its own, don't get me wrong, but one of the things I like about it the most is that I love to mix it with other bronzers. So any bronzer I have, this is just a MAC and Patrick Star one. It's supposed to kind of be like, give me sun. This bronzer's great, but it's matte, like really matte. So if I just mix it with this one on my brush, it takes every bronzer I pair it with, makes it more luminous, it makes it more skin-like, it makes it blend better. It just looks so gorgeous on the skin. I friggin' love this product, and the blushes are very much the same. So the blushes I have are actually in these palettes that came out with the holiday collection, but I love them just the same. They, just like the bronzer, have the ambient lighting powder running through with the cheek color, and as a result, it makes the blush sit on your face in such a radiant, glowy, gorgeous way that you just can't beat. Like, they're stunning. Their highlighters are the same way. This is the Euphoric Strobe Light from Hourglass as well, and this is the actual highlighter. Like I said, this was never supposed to be used as a highlighter. I mean, I guess you could if you wanted to. One thing I like about this is that I personally do not like a super like chrome metallic, you know, like that drippy highlighter thing. I don't like that. That's not for me. So this still gives you like a good amount of shine and glow to the skin. These truly just give it to you, and give it to you good. I love their Scattered Light shadows. These guys right here, they have the most beautiful sparkly without looking glittery. They really lend something super cool to every look that you pair them with. They're very neat. They're very neat. Who says neat? I've tried the liquid liner. It's really good. The only thing from them I've tried that I did not like was this flash stick. I just couldn't make this work for me no matter what I did. But in terms of all the products of theirs that I've tried that I truly enjoy, I think One Dud is not a bad rap sheet whatsoever. Hourglass is not trying to like whack you over the head with fancy gimmicky packaging, although the packaging is gorgeous and I think very luxurious. They're not throwing out tons and tons of limited edition releases. They're also cruelty free. Like, I think they are true class all the way. I just love Hourglass. Hourglass is true class. Something's there. There's something there. Bars. Number 2. Charlotte Tilbury. You guys know at the top of the video I said that if you watch me frequently, there's gonna be 2 brands on here that will not surprise you. This is the other one. Charlotte Tilbury, much like Hourglass, to me is a brand that has done and can do like pretty much no wrong. There's nothing of hers, nothing of hers I've tried that I don't like. And as you're about to see, a huge amount of her products are full-blown holy grails for me. Somebody left a comment on one of my recent videos in a very polite and rational way.
Let me guess. No pigment having overpriced Charlotte Tilbury is gonna be in your favorites.
Yes, dear viewer, it is. But that comment and so many like them that I get on these types of videos are incredibly emblematic of like what can be tricky about compiling listicles like this, because again, so many different things factor into what makes a makeup brand or a makeup product worth it to anyone. And on the subject of pigment, let me say this. I do not need my products to like accost me in a dark alley and smack me over the head with pigment the way some people might prefer their products do. Now, I will say obviously highly pigmented things have their place and their time, particularly if you are deeper complected. Like, I can completely see why that would be a massive determining factor for you in that capacity. And I do agree that tons of brands are not bringing it. They're not bringing the pigment and making their lines as inclusive as they should. I agree. But here's the thing. This is just my preferences. If this video was about my favorite products that are in my makeup kit for my melanin queens, I would have probably a very different list compiled. I see this so often. I've talked about it before, where pigmentation, I think, becomes the only thing we care about in our products. And I think that once you get to a certain level of pigment, depending on the product, you sacrifice so many other things in pursuit of that. And like, pigment is so important, and swatches as a result are so important in makeup and beauty, that like entire drama videos have been made about swatches that looked patchy. Like, I don't know. It's just not a problem for me. I just also don't think that Charlotte Tilbury is not pigmented. I just don't think that that's what this brand is trying to do. That's what this line is like aiming for. For me, Charlotte Tilbury's products are incredibly well performing. They look amazing on me. They do. And they work really well. And that's what I'm looking for in any product at this point. So just to give you a couple of my favorites, the Magic Cream is incredible. I get asked all the time if this is worth it. I will say that this stuff makes your foundation act right. Like, this stuff is, imagine your foundation is an unruly group of preschoolers, and this primer is basically like the teacher who can get them all to stop eating paste and join hands and sing Kumbaya and use their manners and wash their hands. Like, this stuff whips your foundation into shape, straightens it out like a piece of wire. Like, I love this stuff. Now, it is expensive, and it's definitely not something I buy for myself all the time. I don't have $100 that I'm just willing to throw at a moisturizer that I don't know if it actually has a whole lot of skin benefits to it. It just makes your makeup look beautiful. Now, is it one of those things where like, if I don't have it, I'm like, I feel gross? It's not that crucial, but I do love it. I think it's amazing. I also really love the Hollywood Flawless Filter. If you don't try anything in Charlotte's line, this is the one I would recommend everyone pick up. This is a product that you can use as a primer. You can use it as a highlighter. You can mix it in with your foundation. And one of the ways I love to use it is I will, like, particularly if I'm running errands or if I just want to do a little something but not a whole lot of something, I will put this all over my face and some concealer, and you just look like a radiant, glowy goddess. You've been drinking all your water, eating all your veggies. It just makes you look so gorgeous, and it's really, like I said, it's multi-purpose. You can do so much with it, and I love that about that product. Contour and highlight wands, also incredible. I don't use the contour wand as much as I once did, but I do love this, and I'm sure I will completely empty it out because I do pull for it all the time. But I am still using this almost daily. Pretty much anytime I want to do a highlighter now, this is what I use. This is the Hollywood Beauty Light in the color Spotlight. I'm wearing it right now. Everywhere you see anywhere glowy, that's what this is. Iconic Nude is my favorite. Let me think about this. Yeah, favorite nude lip liner of all time. I could literally never have to pick up another lip liner from another brand for the rest of my life, and it wouldn't matter if I had this one. It is perfect. Her brow gel, this is the Legendary Brows. It's incredible. It's one of these like fiber building, lengthening tinted brow gels that just makes each one of your brow hairs stand perfectly at attention. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love this. It's the best brow gel. Yeah, best brow gel I've ever used. I only have 2 of her eyeshadow palettes, but the Dolce Vita, or I think she now calls it the Bella Sofia palette, is so beautiful. I use it all the time. Clearly, I think it's one of the most like easy looks you can possibly create with such a small amount of shadows. They blend out like a friggin' dream. It takes no effort at all to get these shadows to blend. And then on top of that, they look so like luxurious and expensive and sophisticated. Like, I can't explain it. It's just something you have to see for yourself to really appreciate, I think. The Light Wonder foundation is beautiful, and this Wonder Glow kind of luminizing primer is really amazing too. The blushes are absolute perfection. I have Ecstasy and First Love. Neither one of these blushes are going to work for you if you're deeper complected, but on someone around my skin tone, these are perfect. First Love is ideal for you you if you have a need for a blush, but you don't want it to look like you have a bright, vivid color on the cheeks. This gives you a flush of color that is very beautiful and natural and soft. And Ecstasy, which is the other one I have, is a little bit more of a coral, little bit more vivid. They're probably getting really washed out on camera, but there's definitely color here. They blend out so beautiful. And the shades in particular that I have look, I don't know how to explain it. It's going to sound weird. Are beautiful blushes on the skin, but look like you're not wearing blush. Does that make sense? They don't look artificial in any way. They look like you truly have a beautiful natural color to the skin. The friggin' Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. I have bought so many of these things. In fact, here's one, and here's my newer one, which I've already hit pan on as well. I know I have bought at least 7 or 8 of these since I first started purchasing them in 2017. I've never seen a powder under the eyes look as beautiful and natural as that one. The powder is buttery and smooth and hydrating. It's just gorgeous. Like, there's nothing quite like those powders. The Film Star Bronze and Glow palette is the only powder contour product I have bought in a really long time. I think I first picked this up in 2017 as well, and I keep repurchasing it. I think this is my 3rd or 4th. If you can't tell, I really, really love this brand. All of these products I use on a regular basis. Once again, it checks off that 1, 2, 3 list I talked about before. I feel like Charlotte has such a laser focused sense of what this brand is supposed to be. When I think of her line, I think of Hollywood, red carpet, lived in, but glam, supermodel. Like, that is an aesthetic I'm a really big fan of. So this brand just hits all the marks for me. I have no complaints, and I still haven't even tried everything that I'm interested in trying. So leave your favorite Charlotte Tilbury products down below that I haven't mentioned, and I would love to check them out. Number 3 is NARS. Now, where my love for Hourglass and Charlotte Tilbury kind of came on like hard and fast, and I just knew, like, when you just know, you know. NARS was a little bit slower for me. It was something that just kind of crept into my life. It was like I picked up one thing and I was like, oh yeah, you're kind of cute. I guess you can come home with me and we'll see how it goes. And then by the second time, it was like, you know, I'm really liking what I'm seeing here. I think I want to take this a step further with you. And by the 3rd product, I was like, I want you all over me. My experience with NARS is not as big as my experience with Charlotte Tilbury or Hourglass, I don't think. Or at least in terms of like how many products I am currently in possession of. But I have tried tons and tons of NARS products as a whole. But the thing is, NARS is really hitting that Holy Trinity list I was talking about before in a category that I think is one of the hardest to find your perfect match in, which is complexion. So I think sometimes when it comes to makeup, particularly complexion items, there's a chance that we might have kind of a tender attitude towards it, where it's like no matter what we have at home, we just can't stop swiping left, right? I don't know, I don't have Tinder, but you see where I'm going with this. For me, when I find something that works, I'm happier than shit. I don't want to look around anymore. I don't want to keep trying stuff. I don't have that within me, but I understand some people do, which is totally fine. All I have to say is that NARS consistently has put out foundations and concealers that I get so much use out of and work incredibly well for me. I love the way they look on my skin. They don't break me out. I like the color match. I don't mind the price point. Like, they are truly becoming one of my favorite lines for all things complexion, particularly as it pertains to the Sheer Glow and the, I think this is called the All Day Natural Radiant something or another. I'll leave it down below. Both of these look stunningly beautiful on the skin. You need such a little amount to get the job done, and this one in particular is so like fresh and skin-like, it makes almost no sense. The NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer has been the only concealer, no, that's not true. I did buy another concealer at the end of last year. It was at Cover FX Power Play. Hated it. Don't know why I went venturing out when I knew I had wifey material at home, if you know what I'm saying, because that stuff is incredible. It's pigmented enough to cover any discoloration that I have, but it doesn't go so far over in that direction where, once again, I think once you start doing a lot by pigment, you sacrifice other things like blendability, you sacrifice the way it actually looks on the skin, I believe. Like, that looks so glowy and luminous and fresh and healthy anywhere you apply this on the face, and that's one of the things I love about it. It's not matte or flat or chalky, it doesn't settle into lines, it's not crepey or drying. I love it. I also love the soft matte, I think these are called like the soft matte cream concealers, whatever. I use these to spot conceal and to carve the underside of my brow every time I do eyeshadow. Love them, love them, love them. Won't ever try anything else. I, like most people, love the NARS blushes so much, but I have to say, in terms of like Star Student material, their color Madly, I think, is just so perfect, particularly if you're around my skin tone. The same way I said that the Charlotte Tilbury First Love blush just kind of gives you color to the skin without taking over and making it very apparent obvious that you have blush on. Madly does the Madly does the exact same thing, and I think it truly goes with every look. I wear this blush when I'm doing almost no makeup or when I have full beat on. It just goes with everything, and it's friggin' perfect. I love it. One of my favorite eyeshadows in the world, and don't judge me because this thing is in really bad condition right now, is NARS Coconut Grove. And depending on how long you've been watching me, you might have seen this for years on my channel because I use it that much. This, once again, is not one of those insta-famous, like, gonna make a huge splash on social media kind of products, but it is one that I'm willing to bet you will use all the friggin' time. It's perfect to me because it is a dark matte brown that's got beautiful blendability and pigmentation. It's perfect to use like in the outer corner to bring a little more drama. I use it as an eyeliner all the time. I use it to smudge out my lower lash line. I use it all over the lid in place of black if I want to do a dark smoky eye, but I don't want something quite as harsh as black. Like, it's just truly incredibly multi-purpose, and I friggin' love this eyeshadow. It's so special and unique to me. And there's definitely more products in the line that I'm interested in trying. I want to try the liquid blush. I want to try the light reflecting setting powder. I want to try the tinted eyeshadow base. Like, this brand consistently puts out things I'm interested in. I know that in the 5 brands I never buy from anymore, I said that I'm kind of like not into the fact that Too Faced does a lot of sexual innuendos in their product line, and to be honest, that isn't something that like actually deterring me from buying those products. It's not something I have a problem with. Well, I kind of do, and I think it's because I don't like the fact that they do that and then yet their packaging looks like it's made for kids. Like, I think that's kind of weird, but NARS definitely does this as well. But either way, it doesn't bother me enough to stop me from buying either one of them. With Too Faced, I just already don't buy that brand. And that's just another thing about them that I'm not super crazy about. And I don't know, I've noticed this a lot in beauty, and in fact one of my favorite movies talks about this perfectly in it. If you guys ever seen a movie called The Neon Demon, it's a great movie, but if you don't like really crazy, like kind of screwed up stuff, don't watch it. There's a part in the movie where these girls are in the bathroom and they're putting on makeup, and one of the girls has a tube of lipstick, and she says, I've learned something about how, like, she's noticed that all beauty products are either named after food or sex. And then that turns into a metaphor for women about how they're, you know, what category do we fall into? Are you food or are you sex? I don't know. I thought it was so interesting. It's a really good movie. Also, I love NARS. That's all I'm trying to say. Number 4 on my list is MAC. Bet you didn't see this coming. And that's probably because over the years I have talked about MAC less and less and less on my channel, but some of the most popular and oldest videos on my channel are about MAC because once upon a time that was like the name of the game. So much so that when I first started doing makeup professionally and I would tell someone that I was a makeup artist, the very first thing that they would say is like, oh, so like you work at MAC? So one of the main reasons I don't talk about MAC a whole lot on my channel as much as I once did has almost nothing to do with the fact that I'm not interested in them or I don't prefer their products over lots of other products. It's honestly because there's not a MAC counter anywhere near me. There's just an Ulta and Sephora super close. So if I need to run out and buy something, that's where I'm doing it. And also, MAC's website is a freaking nightmare. I don't know if you guys ever go on their website, but my computer and my phone like all but crash. I can't browse it. You guys, MAC headquarters, hey, bring it in, listen up. Y'all need to clean this up because it makes it really unpleasant to purchase from your online stores. But let me tell you something. If I'm at the mall or anywhere for that matter and I see a MAC, I am 100 times out of 100 going over there and picking some stuff up because I think that their products are consistently amazing and they're way more reasonably priced than tons and tons of products in like the same category, if that makes any sense. What's funny about MAC too is if you think about it, they were kind of like the OGs in the limited edition, pushing out constant collections craze that now all the other brands are doing. But I feel like MAC in their heyday, they did it better than like anyone. Some of my favorite collections they came out with were the Rocky Horror Picture Show one, the Barbie one, the Hello Kitty one, Mariah Carey, Selena's. Like, there's so many good collections. I didn't buy any of this stuff, but I think it's cool. A lot of the other collections that come out from other brands, I don't see the appeal of it all. But with MAC, I do think they do a good job with them. So the list of products that MAC has that I think are like amazing and are staples is like huge. Strobe Cream is Fuegi AF. MAC Fix Plus is something I literally am never without in my stash. Face and Body from them is a foundation that I think people are talking about more, but I can't overstate the case that this is such a beautiful, beautiful foundation. It's supposed to be a sheer, lightweight foundation, but the beautiful thing about it is you can build it up to whatever coverage you want, and it looks stunning. Your skin looks like the healthiest, most beautiful skin you've ever seen in your life. And then Studio Fix Fluid is an OG for a reason. If you want to look flawless and like a doll and just the most, I don't know, slayed out version of yourself ever, this is the one to go with if you ask me. Their lipsticks are beautiful and there's a basquillion of them. So many of the eyeshadows that we see on the market now were ripped off from MAC's original line, like particularly around 2014, 2015 when a lot of eyeshadows started coming out and singles from other brands. I could look at them and I'd be like, that's supposed to be brown script, that's supposed to be soft brown, that's supposed to be antiqued, that's supposed to be, like, you can tell the influence on MAC's eyeshadow line throughout cosmetics now. I don't think they get enough credit for it. The blushes are amazing, particularly the matte ones and the mineralized skin finish one. There's not a whole lot of eyeliners in the world that I have repurchased or feel the need to always have in my stash, but Matte Coaster Riche is definitely one of them. This looks beautiful on absolutely every person that wears it. And I can tell you that because I used to put this on pretty much every client that I used to have when I did pro makeup. It's a warm, just like the warmest, most beautiful red brown you've ever seen. I'm actually wearing it today. It's all over my outer corner. It's what I did this wing with. It's what's on my lash line on the upper and lower lash line. It's in my waterline. Like, this is a good, solid product that really brings any look together and that you can create an entire look around as well. Like, MAC is solid. You bet your sweet ass if they ever bring a store anywhere near me, I probably would stop going to Sephora and Ulta so much because I truly do really love MAC as a brand. And I think they do a lot of really great things as a company as well. People don't love on it nearly as hard as they should, in my opinion, and it's definitely a brand I will always, always buy from. So the last brand on this list is... there is no brand. I told you I was going to throw a twist on you. This video actually is going up when it's going up instead of exactly after the other two, because I needed to think about it, man. I sat and thought about it for days. I went through my stash. I checked my order history from Sephora and Ulta. Like, I tried to come up with a fifth brand, but I'm not going to force it. Like, if there's not a fifth brand, there's not a fifth brand. Once again, all these brands are amazing. I heart them crazy mad, but at the same time, that is not to say that there's not tons of other brands that I don't purchase from regularly. This is just the ones that have the most holy grails that if I just need to pick something up, I know where to go to. They're tested, they're tried and true, they work great for me. And as usual, like I said in the beginning, I really want to know what your top 5 are, or 4, or however many there are. Surely we can come up with at least a couple that really just knock it out of the park time and again for us. As always, thank you to the patrons. April content will be going up very soon over there. This month I am doing a kind of story time of some of the craziest things I saw in my days as a professional makeup artist. And I'm also giving the patrons the opportunity to send me their pictures of their makeup and kind of Q&A, pick my brain, give them very specific and detailed answers to their beauty queries in a video form. I'm really excited for that. I also put a bonus video over there this month. It was all about my favorite reads, which I thought would be really great for people who are in quarantine. And then as always, we have tons of live streams over there, so definitely come hang out if you're feeling squirrely. Also, I did an interview with Erica Vieira and her podcast called Beauty in the Vlog a few months ago, and it recently went live, so I'm going to link it down below if you guys want to check it out. If you have any interest in content creation, particularly around the beauty industry, I highly recommend checking it out because I really got to tell you guys my journey and my story and the tips and the tricks that I've learned along the way, so be on the lookout for that down below. Everything I talked about will be listed down below. All my social media platforms are down below as well. I gotta get out of here. It's been a long day. I will catch you guys in the next one. I hope you're having an amazing day.